It has been a year when so many Americans have lost faith in the system.
Out here on the streets, there is a bigger question. It's now 9:30 in the morning.
Across the land, I have met many who have lost everything. Part of the American dream is that deep sense, that real belief that if you work hard, then you succeed. But during this recession, 7 million people have lost their jobs, and many in America's great middle class are struggling. Some are even hungry and homeless. And this is their story this holiday season. It is Christmas in New York City. They say, make it here and you can make it anywhere. And for decades, Carolyn Berenzweig did just that. And then she lost her glamorous six-figure job as a Manhattan textile designer.
Sometimes I miss New York. It certainly was a very different lifestyle. You know, I used to wear a suit and high heels and a hairdo and makeup. You know, obviously I'm not doing those things now.
With no income for rent, Carolyn became homeless, forced to join one of the many tent cities sprouting up across America. The scenes are reminiscent of the shacks of the Great Depression. 70 people have gathered at this one in New Jersey.
I guess we were foolish financially. I know we were foolish financially. They say the average American is 2 paychecks away from being on the street. And yeah, I think a lot of people are like I was, scared to death that they're going to lose their job and don't know what in the world they do.
In many states of America, the homeless have no right to shelter.
New Jersey has no right to housing. The government has no responsibility to house people in New Jersey. And so a lot of people are just falling through the cracks.
This is my place. I've staked this out. It's like the pioneer days.
Angelo is a skilled stonemason.
I had a job for 18 years. I thought a homeless person would be a wino. That's how I always pictured, but I never really seen that spectrum where you have working people that lost everything. So, you know, it took me for a flip because, I never thought I'd be in this position. This is where I live. All right. Over here is my bed, which is pretty comfortable, and where I keep my clothes. So basically, it's like a little apartment for me.
Even with a new job, Angelo sees little hope of escape as employers slash wages.
I used to make $25 an hour doing construction. I'm forced to make $8 an hour because I had to take something, but it's not enough for even to have affordable housing here in America. For me, Christmas would be having a job that I can sustain myself in. That would be Christmas for me.
Our next stop is rural Tennessee. There can be no cancelling Christmas when there are children. So these donors pay for the Santa train, carrying gifts to the rural poor.
A lot of these kids, you can well tell that's probably the only thing that they'll have. And it's sad.
This is Christmas, especially for a lot of elderly who come out. They have no way to give their grandchildren gifts, and so when they come out, they're getting gifts for others.
More than 16 million American children are now living in poverty, many without a proper home. Unemployed and homeless, Catherine Cross and her daughter are among the crowd.
You think, it never happened to me. I'm better than that. I work. I'm a good person.
When the job went, the eviction soon followed, leaving the two to sleep in a church floor or in a car. Hard to imagine in Britain.
I don't receive any help or anything like that. I'm on my own. Pick a dollar one.
In the true spirit of Christmas, another family spotted the two in a supermarket parking lot.
They only had their vehicle at one point in time and nowhere and no one.
They took the two into their home.
It was only supposed to be for a weekend, but after that, Kelsey just wrapped around our hearts. And I don't want to see any child suffer. Big word.
There's not much room, but a lot of gratitude.
This year, see it as a blessing.
That was the Earl of Sandwich, and he's the first person that actually created a sandwich.
It gives you hope that, you know, I mean, there's still people out there that care enough to give. She's excited. She said, oh, Santa's coming to town.
Train.
Synesthesia. You only have to know the Hollywood Christmas classics to understand how Americans love an uplifting story. The narrative is always the same, of people overcoming adversity. And that is an outcome that so many homeless families are praying for in the shadows of a magical kingdom. Christmas at Disney World, probably the most dreamt about destination for children around the world. A magical kingdom, blissfully gated from the realities beyond. On the other side of the fence, Florida is home to 1/3 of America's homeless families. This family of 5 are living in a car.
I sleep with a pillow over the steering wheel, and
I sit right here, sleeps, or I sleep right there and sleep. It's hard to sleep like that because your back will hurt right there. We have to go to Walmart. We just sneak it in there, and then we brush our teeth and wash our face.
It is not how a trained medical technician expected to raise her family.
I had shared some tears, and the kids say, it's going to be okay, Mommy, at least we're together. At least we have a van over our head instead of really being out in the street.
The world sees Orlando as, you know, the happiest place on earth. On any given night, we'll probably have 300 to 500 families who are living in their cars. But we have a lot of families who, when I met them living in their van, 6 months before had been living in a 5-bedroom, 4-bath home with a pool. And they were frankly completely bewildered and unable to even imagine what they needed to do next. So for them, it's a brave new world of really scary proportions.
It is in cheap motels on the approach road to the Magic Kingdom that many of America's fallen middle class take refuge. Last Christmas, the Queen family owned 2 shops and a 5-bedroom house. Tonight, just a rented motel room.
Pretty soon there's no more flat screens, there's no more electronics, no more personal jewelry, there's nothing else to sell. Just dumbfounds you that you can go from having, you think you have the American dream, and then all of a sudden you pinch yourself and it was just a nightmare.
I don't tell them because I'm like be embarrassed.
When you work 16, 17 hours a day and you still can't do it, it hurts. You feel bad. It makes you feel worthless.
We don't exactly live in Disneyland, but we kind of wish to.
I try to hide the situation of living in a motel from everyone. They actually have came up with a neat thing. There's apartments next door to the room, so the buses will just pick us up and drop us off there.
Back at the parking lot, some seasonal cheer for Nelda and her family. An overstretched charity offer a home for Christmas.
It's okay. We're going to get you into an apartment, and we're going to give you the next steps up to make sure that this doesn't happen to you again. Thank you, honey. Oh, bless your heart. It'll be okay.
Christmas and charity on the road to the Magic Kingdom.
Greece, Europe's summer playground in the sun, turned into a battlefield at times. Ancient Athens, now the front line, where the modern Euro might fall. And this Christmas, the battle is still raging, the casualties still mounting.
It's that sense of helplessness, of not having their voices heard, that is really upsetting the Greek people.
Those scenes are a world away from Christmas at St. Philip's in Athens. Outside, the economy is shrinking for a 5th year. Unemployment is at a record 18%, hospital budgets cut by 40%. there's an awful lot to pray for. Apostolos Polaizonis lost his business and 25 staff when the bank demanded its loan back early. So he spent his last 10 euros on a can of petrol, went to the bank and set himself on fire.
If I die and my death will help the rest of the community, I will be happy upstairs.
Bankers locked themselves behind the shutters.
That moment I didn't care if I should die or I should live. The only thing I know was that if I had the banker in front of me, I could hang him to put in the fire together. If I had any possibility to reach this very high man, I could go to kill him.
But the lone protester was the only one hospitalised with burns. At the start of the year, a businessman, now bankrupt and desperate.
This was not only for me, because hundreds of thousands of Greek people have the same problems like me with the banks.
The human cost is mounting. This charity shelters working men who've lost jobs and often feel useless. The national suicide rate is up a staggering 40% this year.
Having lost their dignity because they cannot fulfill the role of the father, of the husband, of the protector of the family, they losing hope and they feel that there is not space for them in this world anymore.
Unemployed and facing eviction, George sat in front of his computer and Googled suicide.
I was like living dead at that time. That was the time that I was start thinking about suicide. And I said, George, what happens to your mind?
Like others, he joined the protests in a nation teetering on bankruptcy.
Every day, they make new laws, new rules, just to take your money. That you agreed many years ago that this is my salary, this is my taxes. You make your program, and suddenly everything is changed.
Before the crisis, Klamika's suicide hotline received up to 10 calls a day. Now it's 100. The Greek Orthodox Church won't bury a suicide victim, so it's thought many fake road accidents.
They might have insured loans, which the banks won't cover for them once they died by suicide. The vast majority of suicides go unreported because of the stigma which is associated with the act.
Obviously, suicide is an extreme, but walk around here and you struggle to find anyone who's been completely untouched by this crisis. Pensions have been slashed, wages have been halved, some benefits cut altogether. There's a real sense of national humiliation and a scramble for the benefits that are left. A recent paper published in The Lancet uncovered a 10-fold increase in HIV infections among Athens drug users. It suggests some are deliberately infecting themselves to get scarce state benefits.
If someone has no HIV infection, he is not entitled to a benefit. When he is an HIV positive, then he can receive a bi-monthly social benefit of 1,300 euros.
As well as the human cost, this crisis has taken its toll on national pride. The Greeks are pretty sore about accusations from around Europe that they're lazy, corrupt, profligate. The Germans certainly aren't on the Christmas card list. When Germany demanded tough new bailout rules, this local headline read, "History repeats itself." I get a sense I'll be reporting from Athens well into 2012.